Okay, Shalom Akim, Kahalayim La Yahaba Hashem Yashab Hashem HaKudash. And double honors to the great and apostles. Thadi How, Thadi Yashab for the strength in order to make this video. And Yara Tazar, that this helps to also build up your knowledge. And of course, to increase your awareness that we're in those times, man, where Esau's transhumanism, which the peak that he will achieve will be simply this implant, man. As I'm gonna get into in this video here. Once more, Kahalaim La Yahaba Hashem Yashab Hashem HaKudash. Kahalaim La, Kahalalim La means all praises to. Kal means all, Halalim means praises, La means to. And then Yahweh, that's the true name of the Most High God. The world ignorantly calls him God, but his real name is Yahweh, and his name means he is, he exists, or he is to be. And when we say Bahashem Yahushai, we're saying in the name Yahushai. So Ba means in, Ha means the, Sham means name. So through Yahushai, that's how we get to Yahweh. And of course, when we say Bahashem Racha Kodash, we're saying in the name Spirit Holy. Racha means spirit, Kodash means holy. So through the Holy Spirit, that's how of course we get connected to Yahushai, through prayer and of course fasting. Studying these scriptures, and through Yahushua, that's how we then get to Yahweh, man. So that's a brief breakdown. Here and there, I do mention that in the introduction. But this is, you could liken this as a MOTB, Mark of the Beast update. The implant stuff. Neuralink. Yeah. So the channel name is Core Memory. I just got this on saw this on the recommended section, so I decided, okay, I'm gonna do a video on this. So it says Mr. Smith gets a Neuralink brain implant and a visit from Elon Musk. So they said, okay, let me watch to see how it is. And then you're gonna see, we're gonna play a little bit, obviously get a few presets. The video doesn't need to be too long, unless I need to speak on certain points, but let's get to it.
They're here. Neuralink is here. Welcome back.
Yeah, how you guys doing?
Good. I've got Brad upstairs. Let's start upstairs, then he can give feedback.
Yeah.
With in the bed setting. Brad, I'm gonna move you back, and do you want me to put the curtain up so you have less of that light? I'm gonna get rid of this. Yeah. So right now, for Brad to communicate, he uses eye gaze. So that means he looks at the computer. There's a tracker that uses infrared to bounce a signal off the back of his retina and back. So he can look at a specific spot, and if he looks long enough, then it clicks. So he can look there and click.
Hi. My name is Bradford Smith. I usually go by Brad. I also answer to, hey you cripple, and I have been called much worse things.
Yeah, I think he's obviously he just said it. Another word is quadriplegic, something like that, quadriplegic or tetraplegic, which I just researched the definition on another phone. It says it's a paralysis that affects the torso, so upper body and all four limbs. And for him, he can't even use his voice as well. So most put him in that position, man. He put him in that position. So, and of course, we could also say that could have been his judgment too, man. Easily could have been his judgment. For whatever he did in his past life. But yeah, let's continue on.
I have been living with ALS for 6 years now.
It said ALS. Let me just search it up quickly. ALS, it says it's a motor neuron disease. It says it in the brief overview. It says motor neuron disease is a rare condition affecting the brain and nerves. It eventually leads to death, but some people live with it for many years. And he said 6 years now that he's had ALS, which is a motor neuron disease, man. And motor neurons allow you to move your body, move your arms. So if there's a malfunction there, Mossad just put a malfunction in his brain, then the person can't. It's basically paralyzed at that point. You know, at least to a certain degree, because you know you can still, there's only certain things that you can do. But the point is, ALS is a motor neuron disease, which means he has an impairment in his movement, and he said he's had it for 6 years now. So, of course, Esau's going to use people with disabilities, maybe old people as well, suffering through certain conditions, you know, basically sick people, you know, to be used as one could say guinea pigs, or to push the implant, man, for people to get in that you know, when Esau, of course, makes it clear that people have to have the MOTB, you know, to partake in society. So in that time, which we're very close, you know, all it takes is just a certain event for Esau to then say, okay, in order to partake in society, you have to take an implant.
Like he's having a hard time calibrating right now, so.
ALS stands for amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, also known as Lou Gehrig's disease. It is a fatal neurodegenerative disease that affects the nerve cells that control voluntary muscles. I am so excited for the implant because I hope to control the computer without my eyes. I want to move my cursor without looking at it constantly. I want to click and drag. I want to scroll and read at the same time. Do you know how hard those simple things are with eye gaze? I hope you never have to find out. And, if Neuralink succeeds, maybe nobody will have to learn that again.
And this is the most size portion for him, man. You know, to be used to further push the downfall of this kingdom, man. Or at least the thing that will be used for the downfall. Because the peak of the kingdom will be that implant, you know, Neuralink. Again, that will be in the head. And then you got the other one, which will be in the hand as well. It can come in many formats, but this point is it's all linked to one system. Yeah, so let's get a precept. This is Revelation 19 and verse 20. And the beast was taken, and with him the false prophet that wrought miracles before him, with which he deceived them that had received the mark of the beast. Because, you know, as it says, he wrought miracles, man. So of course, the so-called miracles such as being able to make someone see, you know, they're gonna have a way to do that, because it's all about how you configure the neurons. You know, that's what Esau's gonna get into. You know, not to get into too many details, but that wrought miracles before him. You know, again, healing the blind. He's gonna try and do that, making people walk again. You know, such as that movie called Upgrade. You know, quadriplegic guy. You know, for him, he was paralyzed. You know, in his torso and his 4 limbs, but he was able to walk because he took what's it called, a brain implant or spinal implant, man. You know, the movie Upgrade. I've only seen clips, man, but you know, eventually I'll probably have to watch that. So it says, yeah, so that's an example of a miracle, man. These things of which will entice people's eyes and say, oh damn, you know, this is the power of the beast, you know, which is the system, by the way, you know. You know, that's the thing. Yarataz, I need to do a Revelation 13 breakdown as well. But, you know, beast being America, and of course that NATO and the EU system all together, man. You know, that's the beast. So that system would then be used to then implement the chip, you know, worldwide, you know, for people to partake in society, you know, these cities. So of course the beast and that false prophet again is also reference to the Roman Catholic Church. You know, so you know they'll be in line with the beast system. You know, the so-called Roman Catholic Church, that false prophet will be pushing it. They'll be pushing that agenda of taking the implant, the same way they pushed it. Churches were pushing it in the demic, man. You know, when you had that the V going on. You know, where people had to take up some shots in their body, you know, to think that they heal, but really it's all sorts of parasites and how can I say this, nanotechnology as well. Yarataz, oh, this video don't get taken down, but yeah, all that stuff implanted within people. In the same way the church pushed, okay, you gotta go take it for your own being. But for your own well-being, that won't save you. That won't heal you. It is the same way the Roman Catholic Church, they will also push this mark of the beast. So prepare your mind for that. So with which he deceived them that had received the mark of the beast, and them that worshipped his image, these both were cast alive in the lake of fire, burning with brimstone. And by the way, that's not talking about hell. You know, hell is just a state of mind, a destructive state of mind. You know, so that lake of fire is representative of the nuclear missiles that are going to be sent upon America the Great. I said America the Great. America, which is aka Babylon the Great, you know, in the modern day, where all those missiles striking the land will then actually have that effect of a lake of fire, if you really think about it. You know, all that heat there and the missiles. So that's what the lake of fire is, fire burning with brimstone is a metaphor for. You know, so those miracles, man, you know, it's to deceive. Let's get this one. Revelation 13 and verse 16. You know, the MOTB, which is the mark of the beast. And it causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor. So this beast system. He causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, man. And of course, Trump doing these tariffs will then kill the economy, which will then restrict access to certain goods. And if people want access to those goods, and even more so access, they have to take the darn chip. You know, so it says to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell. You see, you can only do business or work a job, you know, if you have that darn chip. So save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. That's why this time will be a very, very potent time for a test of faith, man. But really, this is the final exam of faith. You know, when in school you got mini tests, you know, the 2020, 2021, 2022, that was the mini test right there. You know,